Helen Yee here at the UFC Performance Institute, being joined by the lovely Claudia. Now, you are fighting at UFC 225, fighting the former champion in Carla Esparza. Now, I know it is the third time that the fight's been scheduled. How does it feel? Kind of like third time's a charm, right?
Yes, third is a charm. I'm very excited about this fight. I've been training very smart, especially this next couple days because the first time I broke my nose 10 days before the fight, and then the second time I got sick the day of the weigh-ins. And so right now, this last 10 days, I'm being very careful with my body, and nothing will happen, and finally we will get to fight.
Yeah, now a lot of changes though, right, in this camp, such as you moving to Vegas full time now. So can you kind of talk about how that experience has been like for you and what really prompted that change?
So I was in Albuquerque for like a year, but I'm from Brazil, I'm a happy person, a happy personality, and I felt like I wasn't happy in Albuquerque. I had good training, I had great coaches. I still have coaches from Albuquerque, but I needed to be happy, I needed to enjoy my journey, a little more. So I heard about the UFC Performance Institute, and I came here to check it out. And I was like, wow, this is amazing, so why not move here if I have everything I need? I talked to my coach, my head coach, and he said, I'm down. I'm going to go with you, So I made the move. I drove here from Albuquerque, and now I'm so happy to be here.
Good, and we're all happy to have you here. And what else is it about Vegas that kind of fulfills you? Because I'm sure it's kind of more than just training, right?
Yeah, it is. So I grew up in the Northeast in Brazil, by the beach. I grew up with happy people around me, and I feel like Vegas can give me that. There is no beaches here, but we're so close to California. Anytime I want to go, I can just jump in a car and drive over there. And people are happy here. It's the environment. It's like the way I can wake up and see people happy. That's what makes me feel good here.
Yeah, and the fight capital, of course. Now, you mentioned that your head coach, has been kind of traveling back and forth to help you train. Have you found any new coaches that, you're bringing into this camp in particular, like Jimmy, right?
Yes, so Jimmy Gifford, he coached a bunch of UFC fighters. He coached Misha when she won the title, Cody, Joe Benavides, he coached Forrest Griffin when he was fighting, a lot of good fighters. He has a lot of experience with fighters, and he was the one that I chose to train my striking when I got here.
And what about MMA? Because I follow you on Instagram, and I kind of saw posts at Extreme Couture. So is it kind of safe you're working with them too?
Yes, they have a lot of good bodies, great training. The head coach over there, Dennis David, he's great as well. So when I'm not in the PI, I'm going to Extreme to train over there.
And looking at you and Carlos stylistically, you guys are both great grapplers. So going into this fight, what are you kind of expecting or preparing for?
I think Carla only have one game. She's a wrestler. She can be training any other thing. She's getting better in other things, but she's a wrestler. That's what she does. That's how she fight. So I think she'll try to take me down and keep me on the ground.
And were you impressed with her last fight against Cynthia, who is kind of a newcomer though?
I wasn't. I thought it was a close fight. Carla lost the first round and won the second and third. I wasn't very impressed because she did what she always does. She tried to take girls and tries to take them down, and that's all she did. She's not adjusting and bringing nothing new to the game.
So you don't think she's really evolving?
She's trying. I think she's trying to evolve. But she hasn't shown anything yet.
And what about your last fight, against Jessica? I know earlier in the scrum you were kind of saying, that her strength kind of surprised you. So can you kind of elaborate on that and also what you learned from that loss?
I think we learn more from the losses than from the wins, I learned a lot from that. One of the best things I learned from that fight was to enjoy my journey a little more and give time to my parents, to my family, and my friends, because I always gave so much to the game, to the sport, and I never gave so much time for Claudia as a person, because I was like addicted to the sport, and I am a martial artist. I'm not just an MMA fighter. I grew up in martial arts. So after that, I was like, hey, I'm 28. I turned 29. I haven't enjoyed my life, so it's time to like take a break. So I took a break. I went to Brazil. I spent time with my parents. I spent time with my family, and it was great. It was good for my mind, good for my head. And then I came back feeling, refreshed. Jessica is a very strong fighter. I compare her strength to a 125er guy, and I never felt that before, so I was really surprised with her strength. Technically, I don't think she's great. I think she's a good fighter, but her strength is like the key for her game in the strawweight division, because if you watch her fighting the 35ers, she didn't have that much power. So fighting the strawweight, I think she's the strongest girl in there.
But speaking of the strawweight division, obviously, Rose beating the woman that you know very well in Joanna and beating her twice. What did you think about that, and did that surprise you?
I was very happy, I think I always said that, like Joanna is a great fighter, but she's not a very good person. And I think kids look up to you, people look up to you. You have to inspire people, and I think that's one thing that Joanna never did, because she wasn't the right champion when it comes to that, all the things about life, and Rose, it's being a great champion, she's showing like what it's about. I didn't think she was going to be Joanna in the first fight, but in the second one, I knew she got Joanna's number. And I think if they fight 10 times, Rose will beat Joanna 10 times.
And after this fight, though, and I mean, again, I know a lot of you guys don't like looking ahead, but who is someone else that you kind of want to fight this year?
The UFC now, they know very well. They know me very well, and they know I'll fight anybody in the division. I'll never say no to them, never. And they know that. So I want to fight anybody in the top five, passing Carla now. I think if Rose and Jessica fight, if Rose beat Jessica, I think I deserve to fight for the title again. I'm up there for so long. And then if Jessica beat Rose, then I have the chance to get a rematch with Jessica.
And how do you see that fight going? Do you think that Rose, will beat Jessica despite, like you mentioned, Jessica's strength?
I think if Rose can keep the fight away, like can keep Jessica away, like Joanna did, with a lot of movement, she can get away with that part of Jessica's game, because her strength is everything. If Rose can keep Jessica away, I think she can beat Jessica. And then if Rose can't keep Jessica away, Jessica can beat Rose.